flight, the very thing reserved for airplanes and superheroes. Up to a point, I'd never given it much thought. Things were what they were. But then I looked up and I saw what could be. And at that very moment, I took flight. I received no permission, no special instruction. I witnessed no miracle. I simply asked, why not? And the road before me folded like a house of cards. As I look down, I can't help but think, this is not fate, it's not destiny. This is a simple understanding that these legs are the messengers of the mind. That instead of surrendering to reality, I am molding it into my own truth. That every time my foot pushes into the ground, I'm flying further and further away from you, from the world, and all the walls it seeks to create. I am of another universe. From outside you see a face, you see flesh and bones, but what you cannot see is the key that I hold that will bring me anywhere, that has no respect for a locked door. I'm here to perplex the pragmatist, to inspire the ambitious, to light a path for the hopeful. This is not me against you, this is me against time, precedence, a number, a minor detail, against those little things you have to step on to prove that limitations don't apply to you, that rules aren't made for you. This has nothing to do with superiority, nothing's predetermined, this is much simpler. I want more, I will get more, I will do more, because I ask the question, why not? Why run when you can fly? You move up to the starting line. You're waiting, thinking about what's in front of you. Essentially, you have 2,000 meters. That's more or less 6 minutes to determine your fate. In the grand scheme of things, it equates to a grain of sand on a beach, a bucket of water in the ocean, right? 6 minutes is nothing. But at the very same time, it's everything. Because when you dissect it, it's not just about those 6 minutes, is it? It's about hour after hour, day after day of sacrifice, of carving out your place amongst the elite. And your measuring stick is a race that takes a little bit longer than it does for you to brush your teeth in the morning. That's all. So the gun fires, the race starts, and almost immediately that inevitable pain sets in, right? You take one stroke at a time, 1 second at a time, executing a race plan, maintaining composure, and before you know it, you've crossed the finish line. Done. Just like that. And now those 6 minutes not only symbolize all the preparation leading up to the race, but now they set the table for everything ahead. The result of that 6-minute race is just as much a part of you now as the legs that pushed you through. It's what you have to take with you, to think, to reflect on, to build from. And my point is, opportunities come and they go quickly. A window for execution is often so small that before you know it, it's gone. You're left holding on to a result that better be favorable because it encompasses everything that remains. The ones who can capture, who can truly make the most of those brief moments are the ones who will rise to the top. The ones that can see that 6 minutes of suffering is a small price to pay for a lifetime of pride. So when you find yourself mid-race in the heat of the moment, you can take it second by second. You can focus on the now, on evading the pain to get to your result. Or you can think about it a little differently. You can think about every day from now moving forward, because long after the discomfort has subsided, and it's just you and your thoughts, you will remember how you walked away. What will those 6 minutes have left you with? How will you have turned your opportunity into something that will change your life? Next time you are at the starting line, whether it be in sports, whether it be with family, whether it be at work, know that you will face those 6-minute stretches, those moments where you know that the time ahead of you will suck. But just like a race, it will come and it will go. It's your performance, the result, that's going to mean everything. So come prepared to treat those 6 minutes like they are life and death. Fight like hell, because the pain will subside. The victory will not. There's a rope. It's stretched, taut, about 10 feet up, parallel to the ground. You're holding on with both hands, just hanging there. You're not alone. There are people to your left and to your right, all holding on just like you are. A few minutes pass, then a few more, and suddenly this little realization trickles into the back of your head. This is not going to be a cakewalk. In fact, it's starting to hurt. You've moved beyond that phase of simply being in unfamiliar territory, and now you know where you are. You're uncomfortable. Out of sheer curiosity, you look to your left, you look to your right, and you start noticing that these people next to you are beginning to let go. One by one, they're making the decision that it simply isn't worth it. So they make it stop, and so could you. But you decide not yet. You hold on. Maybe it's curiosity, maybe in some convoluted way it's ambition. But you separate yourself from the negative, from the voice convincing the people next to you to just lift their fingers and make it go away. Somehow you're floating above all that. Another minute goes by, another and another, but it doesn't make a difference because you're focusing on the seconds. Because anyone can do anything for 1 second. It just so happens that they add up. It happens that they create minutes. And after a little while, you again glance to your left, you look to your right, and this time, everyone is gone. This time you're alone, the last one standing, hanging on this rope. And you think about it, there was no definitive moment when this result crystallized. It was a product of what you didn't do. It's the result of not letting go. To someone passing by, you did nothing remarkable. When others let go, you simply hung on. And it turns out that that can make all the difference. So many different thoughts, opinions, approaches regarding success. That magical word, what is it? What does it mean? How do you get there? With reality swirling around you, problems derailing, pushing you back, we're inclined to believe that getting what we want needs to be some huge production, some monumental shift, and I do not agree with that. Success is seeing the big picture. It is hanging on through the negative, looking past the now. It's what you don't do. That fight in you that separates your goals from everything else. Look, there's always a point when you're tired, when your fingers start to slip, when a simple decision takes the pain intertwined in the present moment and makes it disappear. But right now is not what you're after. Anyone can have right now. The goal, the finish line is down the road. It requires that you hang tight, that you strap in and ride this thing out. If you want it, it's there. It's that simple. It's not a trick or a riddle. It's a question. When others let go, will you hang on? What if things don't end up like they're supposed to? What if this work, this energy I've invested doesn't pay off? What if I stay average? What if my story was never meant to be unique? What if I try and I fail? What if my friends stop calling? What if I let my family down? What if people don't like what I have to say? What if my idea is a little too out there? What if I'm pushing things too far, too quickly? What if the worst possible scenario happens? What if I lose everything? What if success is for someone else? What if I'm meant to work, to pay bills, and to sleep? What if the starting role is just too much for me? What if I was a born follower? What if I never find happiness? What if I don't choose the right path? What if I get lost? What if I can never be as good as the person standing next to me? What if a life of meaning will always be something I'll have to stare up at, wishing, dreaming? Or what if I just change the way I look at the world? What if today is just the beginning? What if I decide who I'm going to be and become it? What if my actions can create a ripple effect that will transcend space and time? What if impossible isn't fact? What if it's opinion? And what if I don't buy it? What if this new world means that existence starts with me? What if I can be the one people look up to? What if my past got me here but has no effect on where I can go? What if every single day is a fresh start? What if I can be the one who defies the odds? What if my dreams become the standard? What if my ideas change how people see reality? What if the term difficult is nothing more than a cop-out? What if my doubters ignite the flame that is my success? What if my fear of mediocrity overcomes my fear of the unknown? What if second place is no longer an option? What if I make the choice to live every second of my life like it's a miracle? And what if that's exactly what every second is? What if it's time to start living like it? To start thinking like it? To never sell myself short? What if nothing good happens until I believe it? What if I stopped wasting my time trying to convince others? Because I am the only one who must be convinced. They said I'd never get to this point. But here I stand. They warned that success is unlikely, that victory is improbable, and maybe so. But if this was for everyone, I wouldn't want it. They pointed to their own limitations and proclaimed them to be mine. But that's the thing about limits. They'll exist wherever you place them, and I have placed mine behind me. See, human beings make things unnecessarily complicated. Instead of drawing a direct line from point A to point B, we create 100 reasons why it's too hard, too tough. We construct distractions. There is no hard, there is no easy. There is a goal, the price that must be paid, and the eyes observing from a distance, wondering just maybe if they could do the same. The saying goes that a wolf need not concern himself with the opinions of sheep, that those who watch and admire are often the first to throw stones, to criticize, to condemn. But listening to them contradicts the very thing that gives the wolf its power, its strength. His ascent is threatening, not because he is like everyone else, but because he dares to be different. There will be a point when the mountains tower over you, the oceans obstruct your way, and the masses tell you no. Perfect. Right now is not a decision that involves debate. This is no democracy. This is a promise unfolding before your very eyes. This is truth, the new reality. It's about embracing what makes you different, not hiding from it. I'm fighting for separation, walking into what most avoid in pursuit of a return that most can only dream of. And as far as I'm concerned, you can either do the same or spend your life criticizing and wishing that you did. Sheep stay within the confines of what they know, angry at those who left, who wanted more, yet angrier at themselves for staying right where they are. This is all we get. One rodeo, one opportunity. So before you make your next move, look hard at your reflection and ask yourself, are you a wolf or a sheep? Live accordingly. Dear keeper of dreams, I know who you are. I know everything about you. You disguise yourself as perfection. You are the fear that does everything you can to hold me back, that begs me to be complacent. But I see through you. Keeper of dreams, you are the journey never started. Because when you look at the road ahead, you see struggle, you see impossible. You don't see the opportunity or the reward, but I do. Keeper of dreams, you are the voice in the back of my head that constantly reminds me conformity would be easier, that forfeiting greatness would lift a tremendous burden off of my shoulders. But I live for that burden. Keeper of dreams, you are the odds, telling me that I am only one in a world of 7 billion, that someone else will achieve it, create it, make it happen. But if there must be one, it can and will be me. Keeper of dreams, you are the voice of supposed rationality, warning me that I'm wandering into an area I know nothing about, that I should wait, that I'm not an expert, that I'm not good enough. But I have always believed that learning as you go is better than not going at all. One day, keeper of dreams, I will not know you. I will have left you behind, outrun your grasp. See, because what I'm trying to do doesn't leave me time for you. Greatness doesn't come from following the path made by the crowd. It comes from the relentless carving out of your own. Conformity gets you more of the same. It's an exchange of dreams for the ability to feel like everyone else in line at the grocery store. Keeper of dreams, I appreciate the beauty in life too much. The pursuit of the things that will make every day better than the one before it. I will never give that up. I want what seems unnecessary, over the top, out of the ordinary. Keeper of dreams, don't you get it? You will never win. I will give up my car, my clothes, every luxury in my life before I concede to you, before I give in to what is easy. I may be in winter now, but spring is coming, summer is coming, and all I can think about is sitting on top of the world and being so thankful that I left you, because keeper of dreams, you can't keep mine. They are my oxygen. They are why I get up in the morning. So while I thank you for reminding me of what it takes to win in this world, smothered with mediocrity and insecurity, I'm dismissing you to somewhere else. Anywhere but here. Because keeper of dreams, my ride awaits. $1.5%. That number is all that separates the DNA of a human being and a chimpanzee. Which means that, relatively speaking, 1.5% is the difference between a rocket ship and a pile of bananas. 1.5 extra minutes a day for an entire year is 547.5 minutes. And those minutes accumulated could end up being the difference between pass or fail, yes or no, average or great. When we look at change, at getting what we want, we tend to visualize it on a pedestal. It's huge, it's mysterious, it's complex, but I'll tell you what, it's the smallest of adjustments. Seeking out and capturing that little 1.5%. Living in the space that we're so inclined to just see right past, that's where I find my advantage. We are surrounded by a million little opportunities every day that we walk by. Waking up a few minutes earlier, reading a few pages, doing an extra lap or rep, tiny things. They won't give you what you want right away, but little by little, small advantages become big advantages, consistent action becomes habits, and we are, as Aristotle says, what we repeatedly do. Don't look for the moon, look for the staircase that will take you there. 1.5 may be small, but 1.5 every day is the most powerful thing there is. So here's a story for you. There's a runner, he's got a race coming up, and he's been preparing for this thing like crazy. He knows the race course like the back of his hand, he knows the pace that he wants to maintain, when he's gonna sprint, all that stuff. And because of this, it's safe to assume that if everything goes as planned, he has really positioned himself well. But let's say in an alternate universe, he wakes up the day of the race and he has the flu. Or let's say he gets out of the car and finds out that they rerouted the course. Or maybe he's running and has a cramp in his leg that doesn't go away, completely throws off his pace and his race plan. Suddenly, what was once his strength, what was once his backbone, is now a lot less relevant. And I think at some point we've all run into this. Things happening that are beyond our control, not because of anything that we necessarily did or did not do. But sometimes life just happens. You can always control effort. You can always maximize knowledge and preparation, but what about the other stuff? How does someone handle the adversity, the lifelong influx of events that test us and challenge us? You can have a game plan, and you should. You should always be prepared for what's ahead, but that's half the battle. The other half, the part that's overlooked, is being able to pick up the pieces and put them back together when that plan falls through. Rerouting, modifying, changing, adapting, and continuing towards your goal. Because that is the exact moment when most people call it quits. You can't control life, and that's frustrating, but what you can control, what you always have a complete handle on, is how you deal with the circumstance that you're in, how you position yourself. In other words, you can always control you. And 99.999% of the time, that's enough. The so-called perfect experiences are few and far between. They are extremely rare. That run will not be perfect, but so what? That doesn't mean you can't mentally train yourself to push the discomfort down, to adjust, to move forward despite the cramp in your leg. Nothing in life should intimidate or discourage, because there is always a solution. It doesn't matter what your problem is, there is a solution. Maybe it's not the one you originally wanted or drew up. Maybe it's not right in front of your face, but it's there. And even more importantly, it's obtainable. You know as well as I do that life has peaks and valleys. It has ups and downs, and the ups are phenomenal. They're why we live. But the downs should never push you back or hold you down. They are simply life happening. They are your plans not going through exactly as you anticipated, but understanding that this is just part of the process. It's just par for the course. That will give you the strength to hold on, to push through, to keep climbing that mountain piece by piece in pursuit of the top. Seek out your solution, your path, make the adjustments necessary to step around the hardships and keep going. Get what you want, because at the end of the day, that is what matters. I had an interesting weekend. I was pretty sick and almost didn't run the half marathon that I had scheduled, but decided, hey, worst comes to worst, I have a bad race, the world will keep spinning, so I jumped in the car and headed that way. When all was said and done and I crossed the finish line, I ended up with a personal best of over 15 seconds a mile, in a race that I almost walked away from because I didn't think I would be at my best. And when I regained composure, settled in a little bit, I had to wonder how many times almost has gotten in my way. How many times a simple decision to stop, to not go or wait for later has changed the outcome of my life. How many times has it changed the world? How many potential bestsellers were almost started? How many potential greats almost stuck with it? How many friendships almost remained intact? Think about how fickle our world is, how these simple decisions to start, to go, to not drop the pen or hit the snooze button can change everything. And after that race, I told myself that I will never get in my own way again. I will never sell myself short. I will do everything in my power to be on the right side of almost. The worst outcome is so much better than wondering. And there are moments that we question if it's worth it, if it matters, if there really will be payout. And being pragmatic, maybe there will, maybe there won't. But the moments that we remember in life, the things that end up meaning the most to us, they don't come from almost jumping. They're born from the recognition that failure will not kill us. And opportunity hides behind mountains of almost. You can do what you've always done, or you can go further. You can keep your stories and ideals locked away in your head, or you can share them with the world. You can worry about the collapse, or you can build. Change the architecture of humanity, contribute something extraordinary, not be a victim of almost, but go in with the intent of leaving a mark, of holding your ground. There are no certainties in life, that's for sure, but I can promise if you never leave, my friend, you will never arrive. And with so many potential destinations out there, who wants that? Who wants to pay the cost of admission and not see the show? Be the person 30 years from now, talking, joking with your friends, family, and teammates about how you almost didn't go. You almost said no. You almost let your insecurity and doubt get the best of you. But then you took a step back and you remembered what matters. Greatness. There will never be a day when it appears at your doorstep. It has to be chased down, pursued. It's rare. It's intangible, and its existence can never be guaranteed. Yet it requires a substantial amount of sacrifice, of work, of distress. It's trading everything for a temporary nothing so that someday you can associate yourself with it. It is, in every sense of the word, irrational. As human beings, we don't live in a physical world. We live in our heads. We abide by these social expectations that we've developed over years and years. And they're significant because they keep us comfortable. They keep us average, keep things predictable, keep us alive and well. But they don't do much more than that. And there's a huge gap between being alive and well and truly excelling in life. It's a space that just sits there, waiting for those who are brave enough to step into it. I look at this gap as the difference between winning a game and simply being happy to participate in it. Between creating the next big thing and working for someone else as they do. It's the stands or the stage. Because in all these examples, you're there, you're present, you're at the event. But whether you've opted to do something extraordinary or settle to be an accessory to someone else's journey, that's what varies. The side of the spectrum that you fall on. And the struggle is that greatness can't come without a willingness to go left when the crowd goes right. That's what makes it hard. People generally don't like to do that because not only does it require an uncompromising work ethic, but it calls for the ability to accept the critique and the disapproval of others, which is never an easy road. It's never the normal road. But greatness is not normal. Reading a book every day is not normal. Practicing guitar for 8 hours a day is not normal. Working on fitness and ball handling from the time the sun goes up until the time it goes down is not normal. These things shape greatness, but they are not normal. Most people who have done extraordinary things were too ignorant of the odds to know that it was at one point impossible. They had an idea, They wanted something and they pursued it. That is how greatness is born, by the irrational few. So my advice is to be irrational. Be irrational enough to seek out something better. Because being exceptional is not fate. It's a decision.